All right, let's try this again. We restarted everything, and we'll see if it holds or not. Didn't miss much if you didn't see the first attempt. It's just getting started, and the bandwidth was not having it. All right, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for making the journey over here. Hey, Dustin. We'll try this again. Restarted the modem. Hopefully the internet will hold. Yes, this is the real Alex. This is not an imitation. Hey, Andy. Anybody that wants to jump in, here's that link. Feel free to come on over, say hello. Talking about anything you want. Looking at eBay, looking up cards, trying not to keep my eye on the Phillies and Marlins because I don't have a good feeling about it. I'm going to sneak a peek here. Well, it's still 2-0, but I don't know. Feeling more like a pessimist than ever. What are you all up to? Anybody got anything in their sights? New acquisitions? Maybe something on its way to you right now in the mail? Hey. You're a brave man, sir. You're going to try this again?
I am. I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently.
There's nothing worse than a weak internet connection. I don't know what was going on, so
I'm in a hotel room with super good Wi-Fi, so I can, for once, say it's probably not on my end. But that's
it's definitely here. So, So sorry. So you were talking about your collecting focus right now. What's going on?
I was on, had the privilege of being on with Mike O last week on his hobby talk, and we started talking about 53s, which is obviously very near and dear to your heart. Specifically tops, though. Just trying to pick up some players that I appreciate and I like in 53 tops at, affordable prices. And yeah, I'm sorry, Dustin. I knew you'd say that as soon as I hopped on. So.
Okay, so who are you looking at specifically?
Who do I? I'm trying to get all the Washington Senators.
Okay.
Which is a pretty easy get as far as price goes because there wasn't any big names for Washington Senators back then. I am trying to add some to the Latin American PC, so there's a couple of Washington Senators that fit that bill as well. I would love to get a Bob Feller 53. I think did you get that recently?
I did.
53 tops? Yes, that's right. Yeah. I've always had that on my list. And what else? The Campy. I know you just posted your Bowman Campy, your 51.
Yeah.
50 or 52?
51.
51, that's right. Okay. The 53 I love just because it has his goofy, happy face on it. Things like that. It's a slow roll, but I'm really just gravitating to that set.
Right. I mean, the Washington Senators have this really interesting history of bringing up Latin players.
They do.
Which I'm sure you know all about. So that's a fun project.
Yeah. So it's a slow get, but that's just kind of what I'm looking at. It's fun, and I'm just enjoying the history that comes with each card. I look to someone like you who really just kind of looks at each individual card and player, and just kind of deep dives into what they're all about. So yeah, big time. Totally agree, Rick. Totally agree.
It's a great strategy to get around the frustration that everybody's been dealing with in terms of just prices and everything else. It's you you can still enjoy the hobby and not break the bank. Yeah, Andy, you have a couple of these. You just did a video, right? I think where you picked up like two. So it's in the air. Bob Feller's in the air.
Yeah, he is. I was able to go to the USS Alabama over the holidays when I visited my son, who's in the Air Force. So we hopped
Okay.
on the Mobile, and of course that's the ship that he served on. You know,
Right.
you're walking through, just kind of looking at all the things, and all of a sudden you see a sign that says, "Here's the bunk that Bob Feller slept in," and I'm like, "Dude, how cool is that?" Right? So I'm all like geeking out. I'm all like laying on it. My wife's like, "You coming?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna hang out with Bob for a while." It was total geek moment. They had a really cool setup of, Bob Feller, his service days coupled with his baseball, stuff. But yeah, I was like, dude, that's the bed that Bob Feller slept in when he was in the Navy. I'm like, yeah, that was my highlight. So that kind of scratched the itch I didn't know I had when it came to Bob Feller. So I've been wanting one.
Right. I mean, that makes you look at him differently, and like suddenly he's in your head more. And,
yeah,
that's cool.
Totally.
This is great. Completed a Braves team set for 1951 Bowman. Tough set to find good registration. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that much about the set. When you kind of cherry pick cards, you don't really learn about the set as well as you do when you're like focused on a set. So that's cool, interesting to learn. And registration, like some people are, it's one of those things, right? Like some people are obsessed with that. Some people will say, what's registration? Like not even on their radar is like something to look for. But I can appreciate like the hunt for the right card that also has the right condition parameters that you care about.
100%. Yeah, I was trying to remember the name. There's a couple of Washington Senators, Frank Campos and Connie Marrero. I think it's Connie Marrero that only played I think he had a cup of coffee with him long enough to get one card. They're both Latin American players. And then there was the other one that I want to get is Wayne Terwilliger, who ended up being a base coach for the Twins later on and was on their 87 and 91 World Series teams. And he passed away at the beginning of this year, unfortunately. But long history with the Senators and with the Twins. So that's another 53 tops I want to get, and it shouldn't be that much money. I mean, maybe $30, graded PSA 5 or something. So,
right.
Fun stuff.
I'm trying to remember the name. There was a 53 bump. Yeah, it was Sandy Consuegra, who played for the Senators, and he had a Bowman card. I picked up the card, and I did a video about it. Okay. So whenever I got that card, but on the back of the card, it made some sort of weird, sort of indirect reference to all the Latin American players. It said something like, Sandy lives pretty close to what was the stadium that the Senators were playing in? Was it Griffith Stadium?
Yeah, it was Griffith Stadium.
Yeah, it said something like he lives pretty close to Griffith Stadium, along with all the other Latin American players, or something like that. And so like indirectly related to the fact that they have so many. I was like, that's interesting, and that just took me down this rabbit hole of like, there's this whole scout that was known for working with the Senators to get all those players, and like the pros of it was that he was really good at sort of shepherding those guys and mentoring them into the big leagues. The cons were that maybe he was kind of shortchanging them on the contracts that they got,
right,
and stuff like that. But I was like, that just opened up this whole other part of the history that I had no idea about, which was a lot of fun.
Well, there's kind of, Clark Griffith, the owner and the namesake of the stadium, who owned them for years. There's some. For a while, the prevailing thought was Rod Carew left the Twins because of some underlying racism with Clark Griffith and Latin American players, and it wasn't necessarily true. Even Rod Carew came out later in his book and said that wasn't the reason why he left. The reason why he left is because the Twins couldn't afford him.
Right.
Looking back on the history of the Twins and the Senators, Clark Griffith has been with them forever, both as a player manager, and then part owner, then owner. He's always gravitated to, Latin players. I mean, you think of, Zoila Versailles, you think of Camila Pascual. There's a lot of players that he was integral in getting for the Twins over the years and the Senators. That's interesting. I didn't know that about them living in close proximity to the stadium. I'd have to check into that and see more of that history. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounded like they created their own little neighborhood where they
Yeah,
were able to connect with each other and just feel at home and create their own kind of culture and and go to the game and do their job. So it sounded kind of interesting.
that's cool.
What I don't want to put you on the spot here. Beyond the Senators cards, though, anything else in your sights right now?
It's interesting. I've been looking through. I know others have said this in videos, and Michael and I were even talking about it. It's just appreciating what you have and going back through your collection.
Yeah,
And just kind of taking a second look and being a lifelong Mariners guy too. Griffey obviously he's the guy, right? And unfortunately, him being the guy not just for the Mariners, but for a lot of people in the hobby and baseball, he's not the cheapest guy.
right.
But having some cards that I have of his that just evoke not only just nostalgia and memories, but just joy, because he's like the epitome of someone who was happy when he played, right? That trademark smile, that joy, that enthusiasm, that vigor, whatever you want to call it. And just there's so many cards that encapsulate that joy. So I just find myself kind of just looking for those, right? And the smile and everything, not the expensive shiny ones or the rare ones, because we all know those are out there, but just kind of the nondescript, I'm not talking about 91 Fleer level, but just
yeah.
but stuff like that. Just try to enjoy what you have and enjoy the connections that you have with players that you collect.
Right.
So it's been a lot of fun. So that's kind of been the rabbit hole I've been going down.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of picking a card to go after for reasons that matter to you, not necessarily because it's a big card or because it's an important card or it's a rookie card. Or I mean, obviously those are legit reasons to go after a card. And man, it feels awesome when you get a card like that. But when it's like, okay, I want, like what you were just saying, like I want to go after Griffey, but I want to go after a card of Griffey that like evokes a memory of how I think of him. Like that's a great approach, and it's probably a more economic approach.
Yeah, it is, especially for someone like him, right? In a weird way, I really feel connected to him because I was at the game where he hit his very first home run, and it literally landed 3 rows in front of me, the Kingdom.
Wow.
My dad and I just, again, my dad and I have a deep connection with going to Mariners games, and I'm like, I've kind of been there since the beginning, right? So I have a Topps card. Obviously, I don't have it with me, but it's on display back in my office at home.
Yeah.
That commemorates his first home run.
Wow.
Manufactured gold, medallion that comes in it that Topps is good at doing, and it's probably a $15 card, but for me, it's priceless because
yeah,
that's the connection, right?
You got to watch that whole thing happen,
right? Got to see the little fight in front of me, just because they knew that ball was going to be worth something, even though they didn't get to keep it. That was we all knew back in 1989 that this guy was going to be something. And
sure well, yeah, you look at that swing. It's like, okay, that guy has to be a big player. Just that swing was immaculate,
right? Yeah, it was an opposite field because we were sitting in left field, and it just cleared the cheap hockey rink-looking plexiglass that the Kingdom put up because the wall was too short for so many years in left field. So they put up this rinky-dink kind of patchwork plexiglass to make the wall a little taller, and it just cleared that and landed 2 rows in front of me.
You got an idea here from somebody.
Hey, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do have a few. I mean, I that's what 1970. I have a few of their cards. I have like a really cool not autograph, sorry, slab team card of the first and only Pilots year before they moved on. That's an interesting. I'm reading a book right now on the history of the Pilots and just that rinky-dink stadium that they were stuck in, and how they were kind of just from the beginning already 1 foot out the door to go somewhere else. It was called Sick Stadium. Sick as in I'm feeling sick stadium. There's
Wow.
there's a Lowe's on it right now where it used to be in Seattle, and it's an interesting story. There's some YouTube documentaries on it and stuff, but it was just literally I mean, there was like the sewer was backed up in the stadium. It wasn't even fit for like a AA team, let alone a major league team. You know, or if you read what was it, Ball Four? What am I thinking of it? The famous book. Why can't I think of the name of it? By Bowden.
I think it is Ball Four.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I've read it like twice. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. That's what sucks when you get old. He talks about that stadium. It's just horrific in his year with the Pilots, and that is a fun set. Sometimes the Mariners kind of bring it back, even though it's technically the Brewers and not the Mariners. But the Mariners will bring back the Seattle Pilots uniforms, retro nights and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Jim Bouton. Thank you. Gosh, I couldn't think of the name. Ball Four. I was right.
And
name.
Here's a friendly message from our friend G's Mikey.
Well, we can't all be Dodgers fans. That's convenient, dude. Whatever. All right. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you'll be signing Trevor Story at the deadline. So whatever. Yeah.
I got to admit, I don't really know that much about the Pilots other than that they were short-lived. So that's intriguing to hear that they got this sort of storied past.
Yeah, it's storied in the sense that it was just kind of set up for failure from the
Yeah.
So, and they almost kind of got the franchise just because they had to balance out the leagues. I could be misquoting this story. I saw it somewhere where I think when the Kansas City Royals, there was some deal that they had to balance out the league, and then they gave them the Pilots, and then they were gone the year after to Milwaukee. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that was in play that's just moved them away. But then we got the Mariners 6 years later. So.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that big a gap. Okay.
Yeah, 1976 was the first year for the Mariners. Yeah, and I think he's actually. I have a good friend of mine, Ryan, aka Cards and Recreation. That's a huge Buhner fan. I love Buhner. I have a few of his cards. I probably should have more because he's cheap and he's just fun, and he's any Seinfeld fan would recognize Buhner. If you don't know Buhner for the Mariners, you know him for Seinfeld. But he's a great guy. He's still totally connected with the Mariners. He'll hop on broadcasts. He's got a huge truck dealership in the Pacific Northwest, and he's just a cool dude. I mean, talk about cards that you kind of look at and you evokes memories and joys. Griffey and Buhner together. Those guys were just like oil and water, you would think, but man, they became best friends in the outfield. And Buhner with his pine tar on his leg, kind of, I just thought that'd be a really cool relic if somehow they can make a pine tar relic of, Jay Buhner, like a pant swatch that's just covered in pine tar, looking nasty. I'd buy it. But I need more of them to answer your question, Rick. Yeah, I should have more of them.
Wish more teams put the effort in for a winning team. Well, I would agree with you, Mikey. I would only say that not all of these teams can afford it, or maybe they're just misusing their funds. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners are kind of the epitome of mediocrity. I mean, it's been don't they have? Correct me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm not wrong, so correct me anyways. It'd make me feel better. Longest drought in professional sports history for the playoffs, not just for baseball, for any American team. So,
which was when?
2001.
Okay.
Well, we had the 116 win season. Ironically, we hold the record for most wins in a season, and then we lost in the ALCS. I think that was it. I don't think we did 02 or 03. I think it's 01. Yeah. So 20 years if we don't make it this year, which we won't. So, but we have a lot of youth coming, so we're good. we're going to be good. For the first time in a long time, we feel like we actually, we're making some progress with a lot of trades. So we have a lot of good guys coming up.
Braves did a lot of moving. Yes, Boston, Milwaukee, Atlanta. That's a nice piece of trivia. Eddie Matthews played
Oh, I didn't know that.
in all three places. Also played for Milwaukee and Atlanta. All right, so he was Mr. Brave.
Wow. That's a cool piece of trivia right there. I didn't know that.
Carlisle, do you have a YouTube channel? If you don't, it might be time to start.
That was a cool fact.
Well, I've got no comment there, Rick. I'll let the two of you figure that out.
Yeah. How about them Padres? That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, right. For the first time in so long.
Yeah. Still though, I mean, if the Dodgers are healthy, there's nobody even close. I mean, if they're healthy, geez, their B team could beat most, A teams, I think.
Yeah. For sure.
There's a part of me that hopes that the Mariners go after Seager as a free agent. Since his brother plays third, they might talk him into coming to Seattle.
Oh, that's
because the Mariners are talking about they have a lot of money to go out and get one big free agent to build around some of their youth, and I wouldn't mind having Seager at shortstop and his brother at third. Be kind of fun.
cool. So Brent, I got you here, and I was curious. Like, let's talk about YouTube. Like, you've had a channel for a while now. How long has it been?
Year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Does it feel like it's been that long, or longer, or shorter?
It's funny you should say that, because I actually had to go back through some of my archives to find a video that I made, because I was looking for a certain card, because I didn't have it in front of me, and I'm like, a buddy was asking me if I had a certain Killebrew, and I'm like, I think I put that on the video. And it did when I looked at that. It did. It felt like, man, I've been making videos for a while, and it's been a slow roll for me. For whatever reason, it's just been kind of a methodical climb, subscriber wise. Not that I'm in it for the subscribers, but
Sure.
I just hit 250 actually, so I'm going to be doing a contest here probably in the
There
next.
you go. Hey, congratulations.
So, yeah, I was at 248 for 5 months. I don't know what was going on. I was firmly. I thought that was it. That was the zenith.
It was a conspiracy. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. So some weird YouTube algorithm was holding me down, but
Right.
yeah, it's funny to see kind of the progress of my videos from day. I'm sure everybody would say the same thing. Just the rudimentary, the roots of it all to not that I'm like in any kind of high tech place right now, but it's obviously made some progress. So, but it's fun. I love making videos. It's hard for me to find time. Most time I find is right now when I'm on the road and I have like evenings in a hotel room, is when I'm finding I have time, but then a lot of times I don't have cards with me. So
Right.
I actually travel with a couple cards now just so I can make a video.
It reminds me of like early Bob Lewis videos where he was doing the same thing.
Bob and I were talking about that. Yeah, exactly. That's 100%. So that's what I've been doing lately. Just, before I leave, I'm like, okay, I can make one video. What do I want to do? And grab a couple cards. So I'll probably be making a video here in the next couple of days. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like you said, it takes time, and you got to think about it, and mull over different ideas and whatever. And depending on whatever the idea is, it's like, man, like you may not be in the mood to do it. So it's not just finding the time; it's also just the time it takes to get the energy level up and all that kind of stuff. So So
it's kind of like mowing the lawn. You don't want to do it, but once you did it, you're like, man, I'm glad I did that. Let's really right. It's a labor of love at times, for sure.
Fall Creek, welcome. I'm gonna look your channel up. I'm not sure I'm familiar with it. If you have
some new channels on here, it's kind of cool.
If you have any content, let's check it out. Okay, so you're doing. Looks like you're doing some breaks and collecting, just taking a look. So Brent, I guess my question is, let's see. Like, do you feel like you found a rhythm? Like, what's your process? Do you have a process? Is it just sort of like, I'm in the mood to make a video, I'll just come up with something? Like, what I appreciate about your channel is, um, I feel like you have some mainstays, but you also do stuff that I'm not going to predict. You know, like you've got a new idea. Here's another new idea, and then your next video might be a completely different idea, which I like. Are like how aware are you of that, or is it just like that's what happens?
Yeah, I am very aware of it. Maybe not in the moment, but I am kind of, I get distracted, by the shiny squirrel. I'm like, this would be a cool idea for a video. Actually, before I left on this trip, I'm thinking I want to do a series on this. I want to have some semblance of kind of structure, but I keep thinking of new ideas that like I don't want to overthink it. I want to
Yeah,
do something that's different. I want to do something that's going to engage, maybe kind of evoke some kind of, thoughts and some viewers. I don't want to do it's mail day after mail day after mail day. One thing I appreciate about you, and I'm actually going to start doing, because we talked about, a little peek under the curtain, is a 53 tops where I just show one card. That's it. Like a
oh, cool.
spotlight on one card. And that's one of your strengths, I believe, is like, you show one card. You talk about like, I love it when you put the photo next to the card to show where they got the idea, just to dive a little deep. 5-minute video, so if I do that, I'm stealing shamelessly, but just stuff like that, and I'm thinking about doing a series on just cards that bring me joy. I know I kind of talked about that already, just
Yeah, yeah.
the connections, that's something that's kind of really resonating with me. And then continue to do some of the things I'm doing. I'll do some more Killabrew showcases, because I still have some cards I want to show about from Killabrew, my main PC.
Oh, yeah.
And then I really want to I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it, but I have a lot of my Latin American collection that I want to start showing.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
don't know what direction, if I'm going to do it, maybe a Puerto Rican one, and then maybe a Dominican and a Cuban, or, I have some mini Minosas I want to show. I have some Roberto Clementes, and then maybe some players that don't have the spotlight. Maybe they only have 1 or 2 cards that really didn't make a dent as far as, playing wise, but they have a story that needs to be told. Stuff like that. So, that's all that stuff spinning around in my head. A lot of time, as comes with preparation.
Yeah.
You got to be in the right mood. You got to sit down. You got to, okay, I'm going to commit a couple hours to editing at least, stuff like that. I don't do a whole lot of editing, but I do enough to make it look like I edited it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But you're right. I kind of like try to reinvent the wheel sometimes unnecessarily, but I want it to stay fresh and exciting for me. And then also, at the end of the day, try to evoke some kind of, emotion or thoughts or comments from the few viewers that I have. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I appreciate it because, like you said, it's got to be fun for you too. Because if you're not having fun, that's going to come across, and then you'll end up not making videos anymore.
Right.
And
it becomes work. Yeah. We all have our jobs. We don't need to have more work, right? So, yeah, I agree.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people that get YouTube burnout, in part, probably get it because they just get bored with themselves. I can understand that. Like after a while, it's like, do I really want to do another video?
Right. Or do you ever feel like you feel obligated? Like, I mean, not that, I have like, people like, dude, where's the next video? It's like, there's no pressure, but sometimes you feel like, okay, I've started this crazy thing, so I feel almost obligated that I need to at least put out something. But if you're just putting a video out just for the sake of putting one out, like I think to your point, it's going to show, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's not everybody maybe thinks the same way. Some is like, for some people it's easy. They just sit down and turn the camera on and, here's this really cool card that I got today. And it's like, man, I'm watching. I'm like, I really like it.
Yeah.
It's like this, like boom, boom, bang, turn on the camera, I tend to overthink things and really kind of have at least some semblance of like structure. And then sometimes that gets in the way. Then at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll think let's do it tomorrow. You know what I mean? And by that time it's like, oh man. And then maybe you don't feel like it. So sometimes I get in the way of myself, I guess, but to each their own.
Right. Oh man, I was just thinking about making videos. I think that for me, I know I'm not alone. It's after a while, it becomes a habit, right? Like somehow making YouTube videos becomes completely connected to the hobby in a way that I did not anticipate when I first started. Like to me, like now when I think about it, it's like, of course, YouTube plus baseball cards. But when I first started the hobby, like they were two very separate things. Now it's like, okay, I got a card. My first thought is I got to make a video, and like that card has to sit out until I make the video. Like I can't put the card away because I got to make a video. I know I'm not the only person that does that. But then it's like, well, do I have to? And then, we can get into all that. But at the end of the day, I guess it's that YouTube equals getting to talk to somebody who understands why I'm excited about a certain card, because I know my girlfriend doesn't care and nobody else I know really cares. So if I get to share it with somebody online and like, yes, I totally get why you're excited about that card, that's part of the experience too. It's like, I just need to connect with somebody about it.
Yeah, no, that I completely agree with, because it's like I have to share this joy with somebody. Right? It's like, this is something, and it's not even a flex, right? It's not like I'm showing this off because, hey, look at me. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just that inherent joy of having something that means a lot to you, and you just want to share it with people,
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of so many videos. So many times I'm like, I want to make a video tonight. Then I look at YouTube and I end up just watching 4 or 5, 6 videos. And then I'm like, okay, I guess it's time for bed, but you see the joy in others and what they're showing and stories behind it and pickups and, where they are in their hobby and what direction they're going in. And it could be completely different than what you or I are doing, but this time I just love it and appreciate it. And, the one thing that I find, I don't want to say it's annoying, but it's just the prevalence of, investor flipping. I'm not going to go down that road, but it just seems like that's just, it just seems to be kind of a heavy hand right now in the hobby. Even if you don't have subscriptions to that kind of stuff, things will pop up on your recommendations or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to know what the top 5 cards are right now, because that's going to change tomorrow, right? According to So I try to just, I block that stuff out. Not that it's, affecting me in any way, but I think others maybe who are just getting into it might find that a little overwhelming and daunting and kind of scary. And there's just a lot more to the hobby than that, which, I'll use air quotes when I say hobby in that, but
I mean, it's a way to make money, and there's no getting around the fact that this hobby involves money, and whether you think of yourself as an investor or not, you can look at a card that you bought 2 or 3 years ago, and you can look up the price and see if it's dipped or if it's risen.
Right.
Maybe you don't care about that, but it's a truth whether you want to focus on it or not. But I agree with you. Like, to me, it's like, that's not why I'm in it. And I love coming home from work, and if I have some time, I want to watch some YouTube videos, and the ones I'm going to gravitate towards are people who collect in a way that I respect. And it's not even necessarily something that I collect myself. Like there's a lot of channels that are like my favorite that collect stuff that I don't even care about.
Right.
Like this guy, for example. No, I'm just kidding. And you there, man? You're live, buddy.
Yo.
Oh.
Uh-oh. We saw him.
Brent, I think you just kicked him out.
Did I?
No, just kidding. Bart. Yeah. Good to see you. Rick, this is cool. I'm glad people are finding each other.
Yeah, I need to do that one too.
Yeah, I just did myself. But yeah, anyway, I was saying, like, I like watching other people's channels, regardless of what they collect, just like their passion for it. And, watching how somebody else goes about putting a collection together, or what they're looking for in terms of condition, or whatever their PC is. But also just like them as a person, like more and more becomes a factor for me. Which you can pick up, even guys that like don't share their personal lives on YouTube or whatever, like you can just pick up on stuff. And like, to me, that's like way more what the hobby is than, like you said, the top 5 cards this week or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you a real-time example, I saw Bart just popped on. I've been watching his stuff for a while now, and 80% of what he collects, I don't. I mean, I'm not a football guy. I respect him because he's an Air Force guy, and my son's in the Air Force, so salute to him. But I just like his style, just getting up at his desk and just going, "Hey, YouTubers," and I love that, dude. I it's weird what you gravitate towards, right? I like his vibe, dude. This is chill, sitting at your desk, looking at stuff and walking through the reasons why you got something or want to get it, or maybe the journey that you took to get to it, or maybe it's something that you gave up a few years ago and now you're able to reacquire it. I love that kind of stuff. It's just, I love hearing the stories and the journeys, and it may not be a card that isn't even remotely on my radar, or a player that I never heard of, but it's good stuff. I like that. And that's the beauty of the hobby. And a lot of times I'll just start watching channels that have nothing in common with my collection, but I love their style.
Right. Andy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I think I faked myself out before. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Good to see
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
LaCroix, what you working with over there, Alex?
Just plain, just original.
The pure. That's good. I had to go with
millennials in your LaCroix.
Yeah, they're out of my go-tos.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Don.
Andy, how are you? What's new?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing from like quarter mile down the road?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Anything you're hearing, I can hear too. I think things are good. Yeah.
Yeah, if we get any sirens or anything, we'll both get it real time.
Yes.
So it's good. Alex and I are like essentially neighbors.
Are you guys in Georgia?
Savannah, Georgia. Yes.
Oh gosh, I love Savannah. That's right. I knew you were. I didn't know, Alex, you were in Savannah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've been there once. Loved it.
It's a great town to visit.
Yeah, a lot of history. Yeah,
to stop in.
A beautiful place.
Yeah, sure is.
Alex, I jumped in because you were saying how like it's weird how YouTube is you kind of connect it with the hobby, and like you didn't think it would be that way when you first got into it, but it totally is. I mean, I haven't bought a card for 2 months, and I didn't make a video for 2 months. I mean, there's like a direct correlation.
Yeah.
The more hobby I'm doing, the more videos I'm doing, and vice versa.
Yeah. I mean, I made my first video in like 3 months yesterday, and like part of the reason I started doing these live streams was, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but mostly it was just because I missed feeling connected to everybody in comments and stuff, and I wanted to try to find a way to do it more often. And so, that's where this live stream started from. But it was mostly because I wasn't collecting anything. So I felt detached from it.
I'm loving these live streams, by the way.
Yeah, they're cool.
I'm really glad to hear that. Especially
watching you click around on eBay, man. It's super entertaining.
I hear that. Yeah, we can do that. Maybe that can become like an official part of the stream.
Purchases by proxy. Yeah.
Actually, Alex, I tried to join that one too a couple of times. Technical difficulties are not. I'm no stranger to them. Let's just say. But I tried to join a couple of times, failed, and then I was like, you know what? I don't even want to break the flow of what's happening here. Like I would have just joined to sit here and watch your screen.
We had like last time we had like Dave, Blue Jacket, Don, Brian, I forget who else, just throwing out cards to look at on eBay. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
to watch.
We can do it again. I was like right before the stream started, I was looking up Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig is a player that I don't have a card for, and I don't see myself having a card for him anytime soon. But because all of his cards are pricey to say the least. But like, I just think of Lou Gehrig as like that's a guy that like I want a card, not just because baseball history, but it's like that's a stand-up guy that like I respect, and like why don't I have a Lou Gehrig card? I also don't have a Hank Aaron card, and I know Andy, you have a really nice.
That guy does. Yeah.
Brent, do you have his rookie?
No. What's that?
Okay. Do you have his rookie?
Do I? No, I don't have any Hank Aaron cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Not
see, that's a
playing
problem. Like that makes me upset with myself. Like, why don't I
I
have
have
that?
lots of Clementes, but no Hank Aaron's, and I'm kicking myself for that.
Yeah, I'm kind of
There's a
looking
few
at my.
players. He's one of them.
I've got a list, right? And I'm looking at my list with that in mind. Like, why don't I have that guy yet? Like, I'm kind of going through and seeing what I can do to fix that. So I was looking at Lou Gehrig's.
I mean, I guess I have I have a couple of Hank Aaron's, but they're shared, leader cards. Nothing just for playing days at least. Nothing.
Sure.
I think I'm down to like 10. I got rid of a few.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna do his complete run at one point, but I wasn't really ever gonna do it. It's like then I just saw that I was a few short, so I was like, oh yeah, well I guess I'm doing a run, but I never really intended to. And then when I got the rookie, I was like, well, makes sense to move a few of the ones I'm not super fond of just to help pay for it a bit. So like the 70 is the perfect example. He's like kind of awkward in the dugout. It's like not my favorite card, just at all. And and so that's my top example. So I got rid of that one.
I can see if you're like an absolute fan of a player going for the run, but for me, it's like I'm so nitpicky about cards. It's like if I don't like the cards, like I'm not interested. Like I can appreciate putting the run together, but it's not. But that's why everybody collects differently, right? As we always like to say.
For sure.
Here, I'll share my screen here. Maybe we can get this going. And if anybody has any cards they want to look up,
do it.
We'll get another round of this started. So here's where I left off, just before we started. And this is what do we got? 33.
Oh, those are affordable.
Yeah, right.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and pick this up while we're going.
Cool. Right.
Snag that 8 up there.
But I mean, look at like even if you're getting down into the 2s and the 1s, which is my territory these days, it's still kind of crazy. And I just want to look at this card. I think some people really like this card. Other people are like kind of turned off. Like it's not the most exciting of the Gehrig cards. And I can appreciate it because it's kind of like a cartoony version of Gehrig. It's probably not as appealing as like his portrait card, but I really like this card. I can't explain it. I can get why people don't like it as much, but I'm a fan.
I like it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't remember.
No, I mean, I prefer a batting stance to a portrait. Just, I mean, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the card. I mean, there are some portrait cards that I really like, but.
So here's his 34.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is.
It's a good looking card. And then there's this one, which is like, oh, I see. So the yellow was number 37. The 60, the green one is number 61 in the set. I think of the yellow and the green, I might like this one better. But
wow, and an 8. Wow.
Batting stance beats portrait every time. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would kind of. I guess I would agree with that.
Tools of the trade, right? Yep.
Or even, just with a bat in hand. Like, even if it's just some sort of think of the 71 Clemente card and how awesome that is with the bat.
Well, I'll do you one better.
72. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's an awesome. That's just an awesome image right there.
Yeah.
But see, there's a lot of portrait Clemente cards out there.
Yep.
I have a few of them, and they're not my favorite, so I might not have them for long.
Right.
I like Clemente's 57 though. I think it might be one of my favorites.
Which year?
If I'm thinking of the right 57. Yeah, for portrait, I love that card.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'd
I don't
agree.
know why. I mean, that's just a fantastic card.
Yeah, I also love like.
See, here's what I'm not a fan of though. Like, so
Yes.
the 57 is great. This one, not so much. Like, if anybody wants that, let me know.
And that's
Which one is it? Andy, what did you just hold up? I missed it.
61. I mean, it's not terrible,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
just not as good.
It's not terrible, but yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Surely there
That's
was a
my
better
least-
photograph, right?
That's my least favorite Killebrew. I've collected all of his. I have his run, and that was my least favorite Killebrew. Well, for one reason, that was their first year in Minnesota, so none of them wore hats because they were converting from the Senators to the Twins. That's just my
man.
least favorite. It looks like he's, I don't know what that is. Like he's going to sell you insurance or something. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It doesn't really feel like a baseball card.
No. That's by far my least favorite Harmon Killebrew card.
I don't know that I've actually ever seen this card. So
Yeah,
that
all
might
the Twins that you.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, you're not missing much. None of them wore hats that year, which I guess, that was before they would have airbrushed them in the 70s, with a hat. Like if you look at the 1977 Mariner set, that's some of the worst airbrushed hats you've ever seen in your life. But which is kind of, which just kind of adds to the nostalgia of the, of their first year. But yeah, the 61.
Man, airbrushing, what a terrible time period for baseball cards. It was like, in the 50s, it was like the card was released and the guy was on the wrong team and he got traded, right? And everybody was okay with it. Like everybody knew that he was on a different team and the world continued. And then everybody got clever with airbrushing, like, oh, let's try to change the hats. Like, just let it go. You can't do it. It looks terrible.
It does.
I really wish they would have just left them alone. 66 Roberto. Hey, impact player. Josh.
Yeah.
good to see you.
Let's see that one. What's up, Josh?
1966. Clemente. Oops, I can spell. Oh yeah, that's kind of a
It's better.
I like that one.
evocative, let's say, of Clemente. That's cool. And that's not a set that gets much attention,
No,
but
it's a pretty one.
it's a nice shot.
Yeah.
Didn't get it done. What happened? What happened, Don? 1957. Okay, we're looking at a bunch of Clementes. That's okay.
Yeah, that was one I just mentioned. My favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
62 is a good. The 62 is a good one, but it's weird a little bit too because the colors don't go well together, in my opinion. It's like it's too dark or something,
Right.
It's just because of the Pirates jersey.
Right, and
And-
well, the background here and all that. Yeah.
It's just a lot of brown and black and stuff, and not much. Like you can't see the orange at all.
Right.
Something else, or the green of the grass. Like nothing else really shows through. So it's missing a little something. But
If anybody in the chat has a card you'd like to look up, feel free to add it. We're just looking around at stuff, which is fun. Facebook has been odd lately. Sellers not accepting the fact that the market is softening. Sales are slowing as a result. I got to admit, I don't think I've ever bought a card through anybody on Facebook. Have either of you?
I have only through Brian B. Roth 6.
Okay.
That's it for me.
I have as well, both with Brian and then a couple. I don't really do Facebook anymore, but there was a few times last year that I had. So recently, I wouldn't know. Well, there you go.
This is kind
I
of.
haven't seen that one in a while.
I mean, you've got 3 bats. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
It's a cool one.
yeah, that's cool. I don't see that one very often.
Yeah.
Y'all looked up some bazooka cards the other day, Alex, didn't you?
Yeah, we were looking up some Hank Aaron's and Mantles. Yeah, bazooka.
Dave was throwing some out there.
Right. Yeah.
There was some real awesome ones I'd never seen before. I wish I'd been taking notes to rewatch it.
Hey, Nita. Good to see you. That's a good question, Brent. How many Clementes do you have?
I have his run from his rookie to his till 73. I only want to have graded. I have his rookie graded. All the other ones are raw. I couldn't afford to get them all graded, but I wanted all of them, so I just waited to find some good raw copies. So I have his 55 through 73. I need to do a video on those. Those have gone up. I have a 1 for a rookie. Yeah, wow.
When did you get yours?
When did Bob Lewis get his? Because it was kind of after that. Because he got his and did a big story, and I actually reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about pulling the trigger, man." I think it was last fall. I want to say October, maybe November.
Okay.
And I paid a lot less than what those are. Wow, for a 1.
Right. This is my favorite Clemente.
I love that card. I
Yeah.
need to get that graded. I have a really good raw copy of it, but man, that was just what a great.
I love the backdrop and the catching them.
Yeah.
Ball.
It's just a really fun card. Nice design.
That's a good one.
And I didn't realize this. I did a video on it, but I didn't put it together at the time. Like, I'm pretty sure that's Ebbets Field, like where he's making the catch.
Is it? Okay.
Which is just also like, I mean, being a Brooklyn Dodgers fan makes the card even more fun.
Yeah.
Nina says she's nervous about. You know what? I was at first, but there's a ton of reputable sellers out. Just look for the ones that.
Exactly. That's what I did. I bought a lot of mine from the same guy. I just went back to him, and once I knew that he was legit.
I wouldn't buy raw vintage from somebody who's like, with no feedback, or even, or even just a couple hundred, maybe even. Well, maybe then, but.
Or if
Probably
I
a
wanted to
few-
show you the back of the card or something like that, it's just the front, and then we'll show you the back or something. And, that's pretty sketch.
I will say that I've bought and graded, if not a lot, but I don't know, maybe close to 100 vintage cards or something like that at this point. 50 to 100. Let's just give it a big berth because my math's not so good. But anyway, I've had one problem. It was a 1970 Hoyt Wilhelm, super random, but it was miscut, they said. So I've never had a problem with anything like altered. I thought I might on this last one, but I didn't. So worked out.
The most frustrating thing to me, the most frustrating thing would be like, okay, I got the card, awesome, but now I got to deal with grading, and like SGC has, at least for the time being, seemed to get everything kind of together in terms of turnaround, right? But I think the question then is like, did I get a good deal? How much does it cost to get it graded? What's the wait time? All that stuff. But that stuff you can deal with.
Oh, yeah. You can, ultimately, if you're trying to be frugal about it, I think buying raw and grading it yourself is still a good way to go.
Yeah.
And if you're patient, you can probably like hit a home run too. You just have to,
Right.
You might have to go through a couple. And one thing that I'm not real good at, but I need to be better about, so I just got piles of stuff everywhere, is, sometimes you buy a card and it's not what you thought it was. And I don't return stuff like that because I feel like it's on me to look at the photo close enough, unless it's just something really, really bad. But I need to get better about just putting it back for sale for the same, name the defect that I have a problem with or whatever, but just get my money back out of it. I don't do that enough. I end up just having piles and like boxes of top-loaded cards and everywhere. So it's a mess trying to fix it a little bit at a time.
When I built the color set, like 99% of it was graded already, but like the last 3 or 4 cards, I was holding out trying to find graded, and I just could not find what I wanted. And when I went to the National now 2 years ago, I went with the last handful in mind. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to find these cards. Surely I'll find them at the National. Could not find them graded. So I was like, well, I'm here. I'm going to start digging through Raw. And I don't know why I was I'm a pretty, like, I've got blinders on and I can be really stubborn. I don't know why it took me that long to like consider Raw, because I had a lot of fun looking through tables of just stacks of Bowman cards and like trying to find like, okay, like I know what I'm looking for condition wise. I felt like I was primed for it. Like, I know how difficult this particular card is to find centered and in good condition, all that kind of stuff. So that when I found it, I was like, oh, this is a steal for like, whatever it was, $15 or $10 or whatever. And sent them off to PSA and got them graded. And even though I had never done it before, because I had like spent so much time building that set, I could anticipate what the grade would be, and I feel like I was fairly accurate with the return I got. I don't think I would be accurate with anything else. Like Andy, I was telling you in a comment, like you've gotten really good at it pretty quickly, but like in that like one experience, like it was a lot of fun, and like I kind of wish I had done more of that, like just digging through Raw and then finding diamond in the rough and sending it off.
Yep. It takes a lot of looking at cards before you start picking up on like what you're just saying, like, oh, I know this is a good deal because I've looked at 20 similar ones and seen how they're priced, and there's something to be said for that, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm just maybe mostly lucky on my stuff, but I'll take it. It's been fun. I really like, as I slowed down buying, and I don't really have so part of the reason that I haven't been buying as much, I mean, prices have come down a lot, especially vintage, which is mostly what I like to collect, but I just still don't really have anything I'm super excited about or focused on at the moment.
Right.
Because I got like my ultimate card of all time, and I still
You spoil it for yourself.
I still don't know what to do with myself, and that was in January. So, but grading cards has been like a way to stay involved and still have fun with it, even if I'm not keeping all of them. So, I'm happy that SGC's like come back down to earth. They're so fast, almost too fast. Like it almost makes me nervous. Like, are they seriously? They've had these things on their property for 2 days. I mean, I got them back in a week, and like 4 days of that was shipping. So it's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, literally, it arrived there on a Wednesday and it shipped out on a Friday. So they are processing some stuff there. But anyway, I'm thankful for it because it gives me something to do again.
Right. Until you find that next Holy Grail.
Yeah, until I find the next one.
This is cool, Don. Yeah. Sometimes it's the way to go.
Yep.
I'll have to check that out, Nina. Clearly, I need some direction. That's awesome, Carlisle. I've got one from that is so cool. I've got one from oh gosh, somewhere right around there, but it might have been the late 20s. I'll have to find it. I think I know right where it is. But I have one vintage Georgia ticket stub as well.
Don, now you've got to name at least one of these cards, or maybe two.
See, I'm still trying to come up with my 50. I need my own personal 50 all-time favorite cards list. It's just a lot.
Right.
A lot to whittle down. Lots to like.
What's up, Josh? Yeah, I know. You should make a video of like your top like grails that you have. You know, it's like just kind of like wish list. That'd be kind of interesting to compare them with a bunch of people. Like have like a grail week where everybody just makes a video, like what their top cards. It'd be kind of fun.
Sounds like a great little contest idea.
Right? Ooh. Yeah.
Or giveaway or what?
I know somebody who needs a contest idea.
I know. I need to do I have a couple ideas for my contest, and I think I might have a new one now too. Shoot.
That'd be a good one. It'll make me think about it too.
Shoot. Oh, there you go. Oh, the Cobbs. Oh, geez. Yeah.
The redback Cobb is one of mine for sure.
Let's take a look at this Bowman Campanella. I know which one you're talking about. Here it is.
Hey, I can't picture the 50. I'll be curious what this is. I'm sure I've seen it, but it's not coming to me. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Really simple, clean design.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, it really is.
Grail Week, the new Shark Week.
Grail Week. I'm telling you, man. Should just do it. Hashtag Grail Week or something, right? Kind of fun.
Hey, I gotta show something to Carlisle there, and then y'all can answer his question.
Okay.
Carlisle, check that out. So there's my ticket stub from 1929. So little, not quite as old as yours, but it's a tech game. Enter through the players gate. I think that's pretty awesome. And there's some good seats. So there's my vintage Dogs ticket stub.
Cool. All right, so you all do you have an answer to this one?
What was a card you were excited to acquire, but you were let down when you finally saw one in person? I think for me, that's going to be more of on a modern tip. I mean, if you want to get into the refractors and stuff, I think super fractors can be disappointing. And the price and the rarity that they are, the one of one, because they just don't have, they're more that vinyl as opposed to the refractor shine. I have a couple of Nelson Cruzes that I have one of one super fractors, and they're great, but I think of one of five or the 10s, the other refractors sometimes can outshine them. Nothing really vintage though. I can't think of anything that I was disappointed in once I got it. Maybe that 61 Killebrew.
Yeah, but you knew that going in though.
But I knew that going in. Yeah, that was just a completionist in me. I had to get it, right?
Right.
How about you guys? That's a good question.
I know I've got a few. I'm blanking out. I'm trying to think.
This is kind of related, I think, to the heart of what Carlisle is asking here. When I told this story before, so I'm starting to feel like a grandpa. But when I was finishing up the color set, I was totally lost. I was like, what the heck am I going to collect next? And I was talking a lot with people about it, but I didn't want to get started because I was worried about making a mistake or going too far down the road and discovering I was going to be disappointed, because collecting that set was like so much fun because it was a fantastic set, but also because it allowed me to focus so clearly. I didn't have to debate anything. It's like now I was like, oh my gosh, I could get anything, and that's kind of scary. So while I was finishing up that set, I didn't make any videos about it, but I kind of dabbled in 1954 Bowman. And I wasn't planning on completing the set. I was just kind of like cherry picking cards that I liked, like Hall of Famers, but also common cards. I kind of thought like, okay, I like the 54 Bowman set. I don't think it's as consistent at all as the 53 is. There are some duds in that set, but there were some that I really liked. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get these. I must have gotten like 5 or 6 in like a 2-month period. And they were, at the time, they were really cheap. Like, and by cheap, I mean like anywhere from 10 to 25 bucks or something for like decent cards. And I remember that pretty soon after having gotten them, I almost forgot that I had them. It was just sort of like, yeah, all right, I got the card. And like for like the day that I got it, it was kind of fun. But then I was like, nah, and that really kind of like made a stamp on me. Like, I don't want to experience that. Like, I don't, if I can help it, I don't want to get a card and then like actually forget that I have it. So to me, that became like a way to figure out what the heck I was going to do. Is like, okay, I want to go after stuff that I know I'm going to appreciate having, months, years down the road.
And I think that's a good point. That's a good litmus test to have when you're like, so I don't want to use the word obsessed. That's a little heavy handed, but when you are so focused on the hunts and when you get a card and when you have a moment where it doesn't move you, like you just said, that's kind of a good litmus that maybe I shouldn't be going down this road, as opposed to the acquisition and the possession of the card has to at least equal, if not surpass, the hunt, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got to be worth it. So if you're so just transfixed on finding the next one that you get it in hand, cool, I got it, set it aside. Where's the next one?
Yeah.
And I think we've all. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I know I've fallen prey to that on a few occasions, but I think that's a good litmus test to have. Is like, okay, it's gotta resonate with you, on a consistent basis once you own it.
Yeah, and I only say that because I know if I didn't try to keep that in check, that I'd go nuts. I'd have way too much, and I like pay for it, literally and figuratively. So, good question.
So I have a card set that I want to get your opinion on because I have one. I actually just got it a few weeks ago. 1952 Redman. I have the mini Minoso because the 52 tops has just, for whatever reason, graded wise, gone through the roof. So I found a 52 Redman that I could afford. I really like them. I think they're really neat.
I'm looking them up here.
I only have the one. Yeah, I think they're cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. They are definitely unique, and I'm trying to get. There we go. I think they're a lot of fun. It's like it's a great illustration.
Size. Yeah, exactly. They're a bigger size card.
And unusual to have the information alongside on the front.
Yeah. It's a little kind of post or yellow kind of card, but more of that kind of that 53 tops artsy kind of look, right? So, yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah, I like it. No, they're regular cardstock. They're bigger size. I mean, not bigger like a postcard size, but no, cardstock wise, I have it graded, so I haven't actually felt it, but what I've heard and seen, they're pretty much the same cardstock. I think.
Let's just take a look at some other ones.
Yeah.
So is this the set like you're looking at?
I just picked one up, a Minoso, but all the big hitters are in there, right? I mean, I think there's some big players in there. You got a Willie Mays there for 500. Looks like a graded one. I don't know about that. Yeah. That's a one, but.
No, I've never seen these before.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
And then you have that tab at the bottom. Some will have the tab, some won't. The one that I have has the tab. I don't know if that makes it more or less valuable, but it just makes it more intact, I guess. I pulled one up here. There's a Stan Musial. There's a Ted Williams, Duke Snider, Ralph Kiner.
Here's a Williams.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Leo DeRocher, Bobby Shan, Yogi Berra.
Yeah, I was going to say, Don's saying the tabs are more valuable. I would assume so because
Okay.
they probably
I was,
they
yeah,
probably
that's
didn't
what I
say
thought
that
too.
very, very well.
I've never really looked at the difference in price or whatever with and without, but my assumption was the same.
So there's a mutual, huh? Cool.
That's that's the reprint. I think they have reprints apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of reprints.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go to the one down from it, that's the legit one, a PSA 6. I mean, for a 52 Stan Musial PSA 6, I guess that's, you could do worse.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. It's kind of neat. Anyways, yeah, I picked up that Mendoza a couple weeks ago and just, really liked it. Once, you get it in hand, you're like, okay, I'm cool with this. I'm glad I got it. There's a cool Monty Irvin too. That's another one that I saw that I like too. There's a Monty Irvin PSA 5 that I'm eyeballing. Yeah. That's a cool looking one.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's one of those kind of like sets that maybe you don't think about if you want to get a, vintage card, that's, some Hall of Famers. That seems to be a little more, maybe not quite the exhibits route, because exhibits are kind of a good route to go down if you want to get a Hall of Famer, at an affordable price. These at least have, color to them. They're going to have some information on the back. Yeah, these are kind of cool.
1964 Topps Giants.
Yeah, those are pretty awesome. There's some.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, this is I feel like this is a classic set, especially on YouTube. Like I've lost track of how many YouTubers over the years have gone after this set, and I don't mean I think that's part of the fun is because it's like, first of all, it's a really fun set. It's underappreciated price wise, which is a good thing, and it's a reasonable set to put together.
Yep.
There's nothing there's a Mantle and there's a Clemente, but there's nothing great. I guess probably Koufax might be one of the most expensive, but this is a great looking card.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's a good one.
Here's your buddy Joe Torre.
Yeah.
We do it. Here's the Mantle. Not a big fan of the Mantle. It's a Mantle card, so
Yeah.
Any Mantle's a good Mantle, but okay, there you go. Yeah, it's funny when you see something in person, it can change your mind big time.
Yep.
It's just I have a problem with storage for those,
Right.
I just that's a hang up for me. Because I have a couple of postcards that are autographed, not literally two. And I don't have anywhere to put them, so I kind of have them displayed.
Well,
but
I got a binder of some exhibit postcards, and they make the 4-pocket binder sleeves. Those work pretty well.
Oh, that would be good.
I think these would fit. I don't know if this would be the same size, but
Right.
that's a good looking card. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one there. They're cool though.
For sure. All right, guys. Probably need to wrap this up. But that was a good session. Lots of fun.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Thanks for doing it, Alex.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks
100%.
to
Glad
both
I
of you
hopped
for
on. I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna come sit on that couch in the background one of these times.
Right?
Yeah, we'll just have you back there. We won't even acknowledge you. You'll just be back there.
Just crushing LaCroix, watching on my phone.
You should do that. You should go live, Alex, one time and just have him back on the couch, just nonchalantly, not even introduce him. It's like, yeah,
I can read a book or something.
yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Yeah,
That'd be
Nice.
good.
All right, guys. Take care, everybody.
cool. All right.
Y'all, cheers.